Good evening everybody and big welcome to our 12 days of Christmas. Hope you've been enjoying all these classes every evening at 7 p.m. for the first 12 days of December, and so you never know, we can't count here at the school. We could go that little bit extra. We have a free door demonstration every evening, and some evenings I've actually included remembrance wreath or grave wreaths. Again, I'm trying to read the comments that people are putting down, what they're requesting and what they would like to see. Now, one thing that we've got lots of requests for is bows. Now, bows are very much on trend this year, and I'm actually not wearing any bows at the moment, but I know some of the jumpers and tops that I have been wearing, and even like some of the Christmas outfits, dresses that we have for events, etc. Bows are the big thing. Like, I know even for our own annual Christmas wreath making day, both Deirdre and myself were wearing the sequin tops, and there was 3 black bows in the front, and then Deirdre was wearing a red sequin dress recently, and there was a big black bow in the back. And I know one of the 12 days of Christmas I was wearing a cream jumper, and there was 3 or 4 red bows in the front. So bows are all in. So I know myself, like, you know what I mean, from my own customers and that requesting wreaths, they're looking for wreaths with bows on them. So that's what I'm going to do this evening, and again, that's what you have been requesting. Again, people are still struggling making the bows. So I often say to you, it's like as if you put it around your neck and you cross it under your chin. But the trick is, make sure that these 2 tails are coming downwards on an angle, not out to the side like east and west. The bow doesn't work, okay? They must kind of be coming down more in a sort of a V shape. And so you're making your bow shape, and that's where they're coming down into that kind of like V. You're grabbing the back of the bow, you're bringing it in level with the front, and I find it easier if you actually turn it on its side. And between that thumb, still have this nail varnish on, between that thumb and that thumb, do like little pleats. Don't just squash it. Like people say, oh, just squash it together. No, don't just squash it together. Little pleats, lots and lots of little pleats all the way across. Don't worry that the bow looks like I've actually lost its shape. It's fine. Squeeze the wire around it, wrap it real tight, and then go back and open out the loops, you see, to get the shape of it, and to pull down the little tails. And again, you can put your 2 tails together, you can fold them over, and you can do that little dovetail cut up into the center to get that little V shape at the end. So anyone that's watching, I'm going to make 4 of these, by the way, anyone that's watching, comment underneath and let me know where are you watching from. And we might as well get the weather forecast around the world, and anyone that wants to make us jealous, because it's pretty cold here in Ireland, so make us jealous. Let us know what's the weather like in your part of the world. Is the weather nice? Are you getting a little bit of sunshine, etc.? And yes, of course, we are going to have our giveaway this evening. So there's 3 ways of winning at the giveaway, and you can enter all 3 methods if you want to, and you can also enter as often as you wish. And we randomly pick the winners, and you'll see even for the other nights, go back and check, you probably got a notification anyway, where we comment underneath to say that you are a winner, and we give you the details how you can actually claim your prize. And how we kind of like pick the winner is we kind of look for the names that seem to be coming up quite a lot. In other words, the people who interact with us quite a lot, they end up being the winners. So when you see a name, I'm just going to say Mary Smith. I don't think we have a Mary Smith watching, but if I see Mary Smith has shared, Mary Smith has said pick me, Mary Smith has named off the reindeers, and Mary Smith has shared again, there's a good chance that Mary Smith is going to win a prize, because obviously she is the best person for interacting with us, and that's what we're looking for. So with these videos, we are looking for you to interact with us and share our video as much as you possibly can. So how can you win the prize tonight? You can click share. But let us know in the comments. Like, some people are saying, I shared, and I said, yeah, but you didn't put in the comments that you shared, so how do I know? I can go and check, you know what I mean? Well, like, make it easy for me and let me know that you have shared. Put that in the comments. The other way that you can win a prize is name off some of Santa's reindeers. I'm not making a bag of this one here. You don't have to name all the reindeers. Everybody is naming off Rudolph, and there's winners for Rudolph as well. It's absolutely fine. But name off one of Santa's reindeers, and you never know, if you name more than one, there could be an extra prize there for you. And the last way of winning is just say, pick me, pick me, pick me. Put that in the comments. So share, pick me, and name one of Santa's reindeers. I've been using the same competition entries for the last few nights. I'm making it easy for you, you know the way. And as I said, you can enter as often as you wish. Okay, so I think I did say 4 bows, but I'm making 3 bows for this one. So I'm going to start off. I have the 3 bows made, and I'm going to start off by placing a bow at the top of the frame, okay? Now again, different nights I've done them slightly different, and sometimes I put a bow at the bottom, and sometimes I put a bow at the top. Now a little tip for you, bring your frame over the edge of the table. So that way then, when you stick the wire down through the base, and one hand is on top here, you know, placing it and securing it where you want it to go, your other hand is in underneath, grabbing the wire, making the hairpin bend, the horseshoe bend, the U bend, and sticking it back up into the frame to secure it in place. So that's what it looks like there, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bow on the right and the left. You could be looking at this backwards. So a bow on my right, my left, okay? Just down there, again, slightly off center. So that's where I have the 3 bows. Now again, there'll be people watching and saying, oh God, I don't like that. I'm not able to keep everybody happy, okay? So I'm trying to do different things over the 12 nights, that there's something that appeals to everybody. Like again, like some of you absolutely loved the blitz and the bling and the baubles and the glitter, and then other people said, oh no, it doesn't rattle my cage. They much preferred the fruits and the rustics and so on. So as I said, we're trying to accommodate everybody and do something that everybody like. So there we go with the 3 bows. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of eucalyptus. So this is fresh eucalyptus that I've just cut up, and I'm just lifting up the sprigs of spruce, and I'm literally poking it in. So poking the eucalyptus, there's no need to wire it. Sometimes I find, remove the last couple of leaves, okay, that I have kind of more of a clean stem, and it makes it easier to poke it in. So work around it randomly. There's no particular pattern, there's no particular system, and you can add in as much eucalyptus as you wish. I'm just going to add a small bit through this, you know the way. It's just really for a little bit of scent, but also a little bit of texture. So that's something I just say to the students, even when they're with me on the commercial courses, you know that way, get texture in your arrangements. And it doesn't matter if you're making a wreath, like a door wreath like that I'm making here now, or you're making a funeral wreath, or you're making a wedding bouquet, or you're doing an art for outside the church, outside a hotel, or an arrangement for the church, an arrangement for the altar, or an arrangement for somebody for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, or whatever. The same rules apply. Get texture into your arrangements. Different shapes, whether it's different shapes of greenery, different shapes of flowers. That's what makes it a little bit more interesting. And when you're sticking the eucalyptus in, if some of it kind of is coming upwards in the frame, all the better, I think. You know, that way it looks really, really nice. So again, we've been doing workshops, like a lot of the evenings we're doing workshops, or in the morning time, and we're just kind of saying to the, you know, the participants and the attendees, go wild and wonderful. Don't try to keep it neat and tidy. So that's what it's looking like so far, and I probably have a little bit more eucalyptus on that side than I have on that side. Now with this one I'm keeping it really simple. I'm going to go for mostly a couple of the lotus heads. So I'm just adding in a lotus head here. I have these wired already. Now the amount of people this year, and again somebody put it in the comments there, the name of the phobia, or would you call it a phobia?
Yeah, there was actually 2 people last night.
2 last night, yeah. It begins with T. Dr. Google will tell you, you know that way. But some people have a phobia against these holes that's in the lotus heads, and they nearly crack up, they do, when they see them. So again, you know, I mean, be aware of it, that maybe some of your customers mightn't like it. But I was amazed, like 2 people last night at the class that we were doing. So hopefully anybody that's watching, hopefully this is not going to affect you. Now what I'm going to do here, so I put in 3 of the lotus pods. So in between the bows, I'm just hitting a branch here. In between the bows, I'm now going to do a group of the pine cones. So I'm going to use 3 pine cones together, And again, to save time, I already have all of these wired. So again, when you're watching these demonstrations and you say, God, it's not taking her any length to do, well, remember, I have normally, just to make it like less boring for you, I have a lot of the groundwork done. So you see just the 3 lotus heads there. So you can see, like, I'm not putting an awful lot of material into this wreath. And now I'm going to do another group of the pine cones up in this angle, just up in this area here. Now here at Case Flower School, we don't just do door wreaths, okay? Well, we specialise in our professional and commercial courses for people who want to train to be a florist, who want to work in a flower shop, or maybe eventually are thinking of opening up their own business, or would like to specialise and be a wedding florist. And again, if you've been following us, you'll see, like, you know, on our pages over in the Flowery Fun group, we're always advertising our students that are very successful, that have their successful business, you know what I mean, and showing you what they're actually capable of doing. Or when they win awards like Florist of the Year, you know, Wedding Florist of the Year, again, we're always posting that on our social medias. We do try to be as, you know, supportive as we possibly can. But just for yourself, if you go to the testimonial page on our website, so www.caseflowerschool.com, go to the testimonial page and listen to what the students have to say, and students all over the world. And we even have them in different languages: Lithuanian, Polish, Russian, Irish, we even have Irish. What other languages have we got, Deirdre? Spanish, German, like, so any of the students, Dutch, any of our students that are from different parts of the world, we have asked them to do a testimonial or a review in their language. And they can say absolutely anything they want, and we haven't a clue what they're after saying. And we have them all posted up on our YouTube channel and on our website. And they could be saying real bad things about us, but that's how confident that we feel, that we don't pressure anybody. They can give their honest view of how they're actually finding the course. Just going to hold this up there now, just to give you an idea of what it's looking like. The last thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a couple of little robins, okay? So I have these robins here. I just think they're nice. And they do come on a little plastic stem, and I'm going to put 3 robins in. Now there's going to be a mill-up, because if you have more than 1 robin, they normally kill each other, they do. But I'm going to divide them around the wreath, okay, just to make it a little bit different. And I just found with them plastic stems that was on them, I'm not able to manoeuvre them exactly where I want them to go, so that's why I've cut the stem off, and now I'm actually adding a wire onto the end of the stems. Now remember, in the comments there, if there's something you'd like me to show you, if there's a wreath that you'd like to say, God, how could you do a wreath with whatever? You know what I mean? I can't think of something, but if there's something special or a colour, or you have something at home and you're wondering how would you actually get that included, put it in the comments there. Make it easy for me, and if I'm able to do it, or if I know how to do it, absolutely I will oblige you. So what I'm doing is, into the group of the pine cones, where I added in the 3 pine cones, I'm just adding the robin in between them. See, like a little nest. So that's why I'm going for the 3 of them. And I'm separating them so that they're not going to be fighting, because, you know, anytime, now again, I'm not well up on robins and wildlife and so on, but so they say, and again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, they say that normally when you see robins that you only ever see 1, and that's because they fight or they don't actually get on with other robins. Now they must obviously get on at some stage to mate and make baby robins, you know, that way. So I don't exactly know what the story is with that. So again, I'm just giving these a little bit of a bend, just so that they're looking out. So there we have a flock of robins, or is it a flock of pigeons, what would you call it? And the last thing I'm going to do now is just add a ribbon on. Hang on, I'm not going to use that one there because it's not long enough. Do you know, when we go for this, oops, the daisies, this nice kind of, it's like a kind of a gingham one, and it'll pick up the wine that's in this as well. So I'm just cutting off a long strip. I'm going to hook it around the base, kind of in under the spruce, so you don't see it from the front, okay? I'm then going to tie it in a knot, and I'll hold it up and show you in a second when I do that. So I'm just tying a normal knot here. And really what it is the ribbon has been tied around the back of the frame there, so hopefully you can see that. And then I leave them 2 ribbons loose, them 2 strings loose, that the person themselves who gets this door wreath, that they can hang it onto their own door and cut off the remnants or make a little bow or whatever. Because I like the door wreath to be tied up nice and tight onto the knockers or onto the knob. You know, that I tie them up nice and tight. I hate to see the strings hanging down, but it's completely personal. I leave the strings long and they can do whatever they like. I know I had lots of questions like asking about the back of the frame, and there is no wires sticking out the back of that frame because all of the wires I made that little hairpin bend that you bend and I stuck them back up into it, so there is no fear of them scratching the door. The actual bases themselves, I bought them in from Irish Green Guys. So again, if anyone in the comments there would actually tag them, they're based down in Tralee, County Kerry, and I use their bases every year for the past, I don't know, years and years and years. Excellent quality, excellent service, really fresh, and these wreath frames will last way into January, Patrick's Day, if you're a lazy bitch like me. The fresh eucalyptus, we bought that in from Wicklow Foliage Farm, so from Stuart Williams. And again, his foliage is just amazing. And by the way, Irish Green Guys also does eucalyptus, but like that's where I bought that in from. The pine cones, I bought them also in from Williams Foliage Farm, Stuart Williams in Red Cross, Wicklow. So you can buy bags of pine cones. I buy in a big bag, but he has them in small bags. And I've lots of little videos posted of me wiring them. So anything that you're unsure, how did I wire them? If you just check through our grid, if you're watching on Instagram, or again the different posts, if you're watching on Facebook, you'll see close-up videos of me wiring the lotus heads and making the bows and obviously wiring the pine cones, etc. The lotus heads, I bought them in Dublin wholesalers, or flowerwholesales.ie. They're based in Dublin if you Google them, and again they anybody can buy from them. But also O'Neill's Flowers up in Carlingford, they have them for sale, and they're also selling wreath bases and bags of greenery or bags of spruce. And then Evergreen Silk Plants in Ardee, County Louth, he has the bags of lotus heads. He also has the robins. They have different types of robins. I did say to you about the robins, they must meet at some stage to get pregnant, because this robin definitely looks pregnant. Look at the size of that robin. Now maybe it's a daddy robin or a granddad robin. Maybe it's just a lazy feck of a robin and he's sitting on his arse doing nothing. But definitely looks pregnant to me, doesn't it? So, I don't know. He does look like a male, doesn't he? I'd say the female now is the little skinny one there, you know, that way, so maybe he's not pregnant. You never know. But that's what the robins look like. Listen, the best of luck everyone entering the competition. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I would absolutely, really appreciate if you click share. Remember, 7 o'clock every evening, we have a live demonstration class for the 12 days of Christmas, and 7 a.m. every morning, you will be able to pick up our top tips and top tricks for running your flower business, but also some of the practical techniques for the mechanics and stuff that we use in the flower business. Best of luck and thanks a million for joining me.